Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of About Our World. Today's topic is, today. Rather, everything that happened in the 65 million years between the end of the Cretaceous and today. By that I mean the Cenozoic era, the age of mammals. The Cenozoic era began right after the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs in the KPG mass extinction event. Many environmental niches were left open by now extinct animals. The Cenozoic is broken up into two periods, the Tertiary and Quaternary periods. The Tertiary period is broken up into the Paleogene and Neogene periods. However, underneath these periods we have smaller pockets of time called epochs. These 7 epochs of the Cenozoic era are the Paleocene, the Eocene, the Oligocene, the Miocene, the Pliocene, the Pleistocene, and our current epoch, the Holocene. Our first stop in this journey is the Paleocene epoch. During this time, the global temperature was high and was only getting higher. This allowed for animals to once again start to diversify. The Paleocene brought about animals like the colossal Titanoboa, an ancient boa constrictor that would reach potentially 45 feet long, or close to 13 meters, and weigh up to 1.25 tons. Conservative estimates still put it at just shy of 40 feet. This constrictor was the largest vertebrate on Earth for 10 million years, until an event known as the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum. High temperatures are bad for reptiles like snakes because they cannot control their body temperatures and can therefore risk overheating. Also, since reptiles' metabolism lies on their body temperature, if it's hotter out, they burn too much energy. This is why you can find reptiles sheltering in shaded areas like underneath rocks on hot summer days. This caused Titanoboa and other gigantic reptiles to die out. During this thermal maximum, the global temperature was the highest in Earth's history. This proved extremely beneficial to mammals. Mammal orders, including the Artiodactyls, the order that includes all even-toed ungulates like deer and hippos, Perissodactyls, the order that includes all odd-toed ungulates like zebras and rhinos, and even primates all came about during this period of high global temperature. Now, mammals were beginning to become the dominant class of animals on Earth. However, dinosaurs still have their dominance. Birds like the forest rakids or terror birds were powerful land predators who would give mammals a run for their money. Terror birds were originally visualized as tall, ostrich-like birds. We now know that they were rather robust, with powerful legs for dealing devastating kicks to their prey. The PETM was very important for mammal development because it caused an explosion of mammal diversification in the northern continents. The Eocene brought about some of the mammals we see today, like the earliest horses, rodents, and whales, like the 56-foot-long Basilosaurus. During the Eocene, several species of grass also came about. Yep, the grass we know today didn't exist until about 55 million years ago. Also 55 million years ago, the first marsupials migrated from South America to Australia, where almost all marsupials are found today. Due to the now bountiful grasslands that covered parts of the planet, herbivores were increasing in size. This also allowed for carnivores to increase in size. During the Oligocene, we see some of the first mammalian megafauna. Proboscideans. Paleomastodon and other large mammals became prey for some of the first predators like the earliest canids. Also during the Oligocene, there was a decrease in marine diversity due to the cooling trend since the PETM, reducing plankton diversity. We also begin to see the first birds of prey. In Europe, a migration event called the Grande Coupure brought new Artiodactyls and Perissodactyls to the continent and caused the extinction of many European Eocene taxa. The Miocene was home to the largest land mammal to ever live, Paraceratherium. They reached heights of up to 16 feet, lengths of up to 24.5 feet, and weighed up to 24 tons. To put that into perspective, a modern African bush elephant weighs about a third of that. Paraceratherium was a giant, hornless rhino that lived in Eurasia. They likely went extinct due to competition for food with much smaller animals. Since they were so massive, they obviously needed a lot of food to sustain their giant bodies. So, as smaller herbivores beat them to food sources, they died out. Artiodactyls and perissodactyls both went through rapid diversification during the Miocene. Earth experienced a slight warming event during this time. Underwater, kelp forests appeared for the first time, creating an entirely new ecosystem which was vital to the ocean's fauna and flora. This epoch also brought about many of the seeded plant families we see today, with some studies saying up to 95% of them. Additionally, in North America, the Sierra Nevada and Cascade mountain ranges began to form. In Central America, the Panama Isthmus, which connects North and South America, was also beginning to form. During the Pliocene, we see many familiar animals. Everything is starting to look like it does today. You have birds of prey, deer, dogs, cats, bears, whales, elephants, sloths, and rodents. You also had everyone's favorite 50-foot-long shark, the 100% extinct Megalodon. At the same time, you have unfamiliar animals like the giant ground sloths. Speaking of giant ground sloths, did you know that they're the reason we have avocados? If it weren't for giant fruit eaters like Megalonyx, avocado seeds would never have been spread around the Central America region. Due to the collision of North and South America and the subsequent creation of the Panama Isthmus, the two continents had one of the largest faunal and floral exchanges of the entire era, the Great American Interchange. South American endemic species like the aforementioned ground sloths, opossums, and terrorbirds made their way into South America. From the other side, elephants, ungulates, rodents, mustelids, and bears crossed over. This exchange was the most pivotal event in both continents' histories because it caused the extinction of many South American endemic species, like certain marsupials and terrorbirds, and also caused the proliferation of many North American species like bears, cats, rodents, and mustelids. The last notable event of the Pliocene was the freezing of the poles. Yes, the ice caps became ice caps during the Pliocene and have remained that way since. The Pleistocene epoch was the age of megafauna. It was also, the Ice Age. The cooling trend that started after the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum finally caused a glacial maximum, the third in Earth's history. During the Ice Age, the average global temperature was around 46 degrees Fahrenheit, more than 10 degrees lower than today's average of 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Even more extreme is that the polar regions may have been up to 25 degrees Fahrenheit colder than they are today. In this cold environment, animals got big, and I mean really big. There were animals like the 13-foot-tall, 10-ton Columbian mammoth, the 10-foot-tall, 3-ton Megalonyx, and the giant monster bird, Argentavis magnificens, who had a 23-foot wingspan and weighed 154 pounds. Monster birds, family Teratornis, were the largest birds to ever fly, with Argentavis being the largest. They were New World vultures, putting them in the same group as the Andean and California condors. We also had the 2,200-pound cave bear. Dire wolves were slightly larger than gray wolves, Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat, rhinos, horses, camels, bison that were even larger than today's bison, Joseph Ortegazia, a 5-foot-tall and 10-foot-long rodent, and even American lions and cheetahs. Europe held the nearly mammoth-sized Elasmotherium and the moose-like Megaloceros, or Irish elk. Australia was home to many large marsupials like the marsupial lion, Thylacoleo, Diprotodon, the giant wombat, and the 23-foot-long monitor lizard, Megalania. Many Asian and African animals made their way to the Americas through the Bering Strait, a land bridge that opened up when sea levels were low due to water being locked up in glaciers. The reason why we find so many megafauna during the Pleistocene is because when temperatures are low, being bigger is the best way to conserve heat. However, as temperatures began to bounce back and the Ice Age came to a close, the megafauna stood no chance. Finally, we arrive close to the present day, just 12,000 years to go. The Holocene began with the extinction of most of the world's megafauna.
Wait a minute. How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
As the Ice Age closed, environments began to rapidly change, and being giant animals, many species could not adapt. They were also outcompeted by smaller species. It probably didn't help that humans were on every continent by now, and were very good at hunting these giant animals. Today, Africa remains the last stronghold for megafauna. There, we have elephants, giraffes, rhinos, buffalo, hippos, and ostriches, as well as many large predators to hunt them. Sure, there are elephants and rhinos in Asia, bison and moose in North America, and Komodo dragons and saltwater crocodiles in Australia, but Africa holds the most megafauna today. The biggest events of the Holocene are the human events, as I detailed in my human evolution videos. Some people like to say that once the Industrial Revolution began, the Holocene ended and a new epoch, the Anthropocene epoch, began. I, however, like to refer to it all as the Holocene. There's not really much to say about this ongoing epoch. If you want to learn about the environments, well, just look outside. Earth was pretty much exactly as it is today 12,000 years ago. One very important thing, however, is extinction. Before humans defaced the planet in search of natural resources and places to live, about 0.1 species out of 1 million went extinct each year. This is what's called the background extinction rate. However, according to a study published from Duke University in 2014, that number is now between 100 and 1,000 species per million per year. The rate is over 1,000 times higher now due to poaching, habitat loss, and most of all, climate change. Our carelessness is what got us here, and it's our care for our planet that must get us out of it. I'll see you next week.